Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. This is the Let's Make a Deal video game perception idea. You all remember that Monty Hall was the favorite host of this, which has become a controversial game show. I've watched the program, and I can tell you, there's nothing controversial about it. Not too long ago, they made a DVD game of Let's Make a Deal. I've decided to use some still shots from the video to imply to everybody of what the game show was about. Sadly enough, there is no video game. But maybe somebody out there will decide to make a video game about it. The premise of the series was that you had the chance to deal with Monty Hall for prizes. The biggest deal of them all was choosing between those 3 doors. But to begin, you had to do smaller deals. You had a choice between the curtain or taking either an envelope or some other item. If you made a mistake, you got junk, like these old tennis shoes. If you made the right choice, you got cash money or other things of higher value. Then he would do the same thing again. He would choose other contestants out of the audience who were all dressed up in different kinds of costumes. If you looked the stupidest, he chose you above anyone else. Sometimes when you chose the right item, you won a pretty good prize, like that item there. But in most cases, people always chose the wrong thing, and they ended up getting junk again, like this oversized donut. In the premise of the series, you had the chance finally to go to the main prizes of the show, and that was to choose between 3 doors. Each door had a different prize, but you never knew what it was. You had to pretty much decide for yourself, did you want to make a chance of taking one door or going for whatever he actually tried to deal with? Cash, other tangible items. These customers, or shall I say contestants, chose wrong, and they ended up getting a horse and plow. Other times, he would offer higher value prizes, but it never really was a simple idea to choose the right one, because sometimes he would choose to give you something and then there'd be something hidden behind it. So you would think, oh, I got the grand prize, but in reality you didn't get nothing except you got zoinked again. And that's really the worst word that you could possibly have thought of when you were trying to actually compete on Let's Make a Deal. Monty Hall was a really great host. He was just like Bob Barker on The Price is Right. Now, in some instances, the prize that they offered was ridiculous. As a matter of fact, in this shot, you can see that Monty Hall got a little upset because he knew he had chosen to give them the wrong thing. Or it was a blooper and they had to edit it out and start over because somehow or another something happened and they got mixed up. In completing this video, I want to also mention to everybody that they did a series of game shows when Drew Carey first began doing The Price is Right back in 1998, 1997. Well, it was an entire week of new game shows that they were trying out. And actually, one of the game shows was Let's Make a Deal. Sadly, I never videotaped it, but I did see that as one of the new shows that CBS was going to try and air again. It did not have Monty Hall on it. As a matter of fact, I think Drew Carey did all of the shows to promote them for the network for that whole week. But anyway, it failed. I guess nobody really felt that Let's Make a Deal was a good idea. So they dropped it, and I think they dropped all the other shows that they did for that week on CBS and just continued on doing The Price is Right with Drew Carey. And he never actually did any other follow-ups of those game shows again. So you only had one other time, 20-something years later, that Let's Make a Deal ever went back on television again. And that, sadly, was the end of it for any chance that people would be able to see the show as it was originally conceived by Monty Hall. But there is a DVD video out there on the market, and it is a documentary about the show at the time that it was actually on television. And they brought up a lot of facts about the show as far as how it was perceived as being controversial. And when I saw the documentary, I really only wanted to see the game show itself, because I had remembered seeing it as a kid on television, but it's never been released on video since. So the only time you ever can see any of Let's Make a Deal, if they even show it, would be on the Game Show Network. But it'd be nice one day maybe for somebody to release the show on DVD so we could see the early shows that they aired. I don't see how anybody would say that it's an issue of controversy, because the show obviously isn't airing anymore, and it would just be a nostalgic opportunity to see the original prizes and the products they offered, because Fremantle owns The Price is Right, and they have released the early shows from 1972. They have actually put those already on DVD. So that's a chance of a lifetime to see the early shows. Now, I've never seen anything of Family Feud. I've never seen them put that on DVD, except for they did a series of TV families feuding with each other back in the 80s, and they've shown most of those, but they've never actually released any of the first season stuff from 1976 or 1977. And they never have actually done anything even for Wheel of Fortune. Now, I think Wheel of Fortune and Jeopardy are owned by Sony Pictures, but all they've allowed to anything to be released of that is the Wii games that they've marketed. But as far as giving people a chance to see the early shows, you'll never see them, because I don't think Sony would ever market them on DVD. But Wheel of Fortune, just before I end this video, it had the perception that when you won prizes, and this is the very first year that it was on television, you only had the choice to convert the money you actually won into actual prizes that you chose from at the end of the show. There was no take the money, you won it, you're entitled to it. They would make the contestant convert all of that money into actual prizes that they offered in various showrooms. And each showroom was based on a certain amount of money that you had to win, and then they would let you choose what prize you wanted. And if you had money left over, they made you take a gift certificate. That gift certificate then became basically a tangible conversion to another prize that you could order from a catalog. And that's how Wheel of Fortune began, folks. There was no such thing as cash awards, cash prizes. Everything had to be converted into an actual prize that you picked on stage at the end of the show. And that's how Pat Sajak did it. He'd say, well, you won this much money. Now let's see what we got in our showroom. And that's how you, as the contestant, got whatever you won. It was actually a converted item. And yeah, they did advertise at the beginning of the show what was available in those showrooms. But that's as much of it as you knew. I mean, you would probably get some idea of what you could get, but you really had to work hard to get that much money. If you didn't make that much money, then you didn't get it. So, anyway, thank you for watching this video, and I hope y'all enjoyed this little idea that has come up in the past 30 years, and unfortunately nobody has ever gone with the idea. Monty Hall, he actually still owns the copyright to Let's Make a Deal. He and another guy marketed the DVD game, and I must say it's kind of lame when you think of how technology has increased so much that you can play these games directly through video games, and that they've never marketed anything like that on a video game since. So it's my idea that maybe somebody out there would say, hey, that's a really good idea. And use the original products too. Don't do this mess about using current 2015 ideas or prizes, because the more older you see the show like it originally was, the more nostalgic it is, and it's much more fun because you get to experience it as close to how the original Let's Make a Deal was done back in 1974, 1975. So, thank you for watching this video, and I hope you enjoyed it.